All right, so now we're talking about what we delete and how we make this work for us. Now, we've got to kind of ground it a little bit. We're not saying get rid of it permanently. We're sort of talking about getting it out of the way first. There's stuff that you're going to need to come back to, but it's not always stuff that's going to be relevant right in the first thing. The first thing we got to do is we got to understand what we're reading. A lot of what we're going to get rid of is stuff that adds color or adds depth, and we don't need that yet. We will eventually, but we don't yet. So the very first thing I do is as I go through, I'm going to try and delete any redundancy. If the idea repeats, I'm tossing it. So we have our Anglo-Saxon poem from before. My feet were cast in icy bands, bound with frost, with frozen chains and hardship groaned around my heart. Hunger tore at my sea-weary soul. No man sheltered on the quiet fairness of earth can feel how wretched I was. Drifting through winter on an ice-cold sea, whirled in sorrow, alone in a world blown clear of love, hung with icicles. The hailstorms flew. Now, dividing it up, one of the things it does is it shows me that we've got some ideas that repeat, and I can see them in individual sentences. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and take out the stuff that I don't need. I look at what's left, and I have something that's just a little more manageable. Like when I look at it, my feet were cast in icy bands. Bound with frost, with frozen chains, those ideas are already covered in the previous part. So for now, I'm cutting them. Hunger tore at my sea-weary soul. That's a small enough idea that we can leave it as is. No man sheltered on the quiet fairness of earth can feel how wretched I was. All right, drifting through winter on an ice-cold sea. We've already got that idea in the first part. We know it's cold. Whirled in sorrow. We got that too, because we talk about the hardship growing around his heart and sea-weary soul. Alone in a world blown clear of love, hung with icicles. Pretty much, I think we've got those ideas too. So we can cut all of that just for our understanding and to figure out what's going on. Now, another thing we want to look at, and this may apply sometimes, especially to essays, is if there are clauses, we're going to cut those. Now, what I mean by a clause is it's generally between two commas, and it sort of amplifies or fills out the idea, but it's not an idea on its own. Now, that's not exactly the grammar school version of things, but it's for our purposes, that's the definition we're going to run with. So when we look at this part from the crisis, we have a lot of parts where there are little clauses in between, and we're going to get rid of some of those, like the summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will, in this crisis, shrink from the service of their country. I think we can get rid of in this crisis. He that stands by it now deserves the love and thanks of man and woman. Tyranny, like hell, is not easily conquered. We can get rid of the like hell, because tyranny is not easily conquered. Complete idea. We could put in a lot of other ideas in there that wouldn't be easily conquered, so we can live without it for right now. Then we jump down to this. Britain, with an army to enforce her tyranny, has declared that she has a right, etc., etc. We know that the British had an army. We know that they were kind of running things, so we can get rid of that part. All right, now the third tactic that I'm going to use here is I'm going to see if there are sections that I can cut. In a research paper, especially, in technical documents especially, sometimes there are technical parts or procedural parts that we'll need to know eventually, but aren't going to be the main big answers we're looking for at first. So, for instance, in a research paper, the methods section, it is important, but it's not the part we need to get to first. What they're doing is they're showing their work. They're telling us how they arrived at the answer, telling us how they set up the problem and everything else. And it's very useful, but not yet. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the first paragraph over it, which is an overview. And they'll usually call it overview. Sometimes they'll call it something else, but it'll give you a very basic idea of the first thing they did when they set up their paper and set up their study. The rest of it, I don't need the details yet. I might, But right now I'm focusing on bigger stuff. So I'm just going to look at the overview and sort of file away the methods to come back to it. All right, so a very quick review. The first thing we do is we get rid of any redundancy. If we have ideas that are redundant or repetitive, and I'll even say things that are pretty obvious that we can infer, I'm going to delete it. Second, any clauses that are there to embellish or develop, I'm going to cut those too. Third, I'm going to see if there are sections that I can cut or if there are details that I don't really need yet. So that's how we make the delete part of this work. Coming up, we're going to look at the decode part, which is what we do after we've broken it down and cut the parts we don't need. Now we got to figure out what the rest of it means. So see you next time.